Hey everyone.
Hey, welcome back to
For the love of real estate.
For the love of real estate.
We never get that right, but
it's kind of like our gimmick now.
is it episode 8 or 9?
We're on episode 8.
Episode 8. You guys are lucky. Number 8.
Sweet.
Yeah. We have
it is great.
we have some great guests today.
Yeah, introduce them for us.
So we have Jennifer Rayum, who's a wonderful, wonderful realtor, very friendly person as well with Key Realty, and her husband Brian Taylor.
Yes.
Yes. It's not names that we screw up, because remember how bad we screwed up like Dave Poppelmeyer?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
boy.
a tough one.
We had
Yes,
a
we
30-second. I didn't even edit it. It was just funny, so I
Yes.
made it work. But
And we were just talking to Jennifer about changing your last name in real estate because you guys got married. Now you're Taylor, but it's hard to change when you have your brand set up with Rayum, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You build your business under a name and then you change it and nobody's like, who's Jennifer Taylor?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
her
Makes
last
sense.
name is Lee Master, and I was like, "There's so much more you can do with Lee Master than Hornsby. You could be like the Key Master. Like, you could,
Well, if she changed to
Yes.
Taylor, she could be like tailored service or tailored to
but
you or
she's
something.
already built
Yes.
the name,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so I
True.
get it. But that's not why we're here today. Is to talk about last
Yes.
names.
Well, Jen's kids are selling real estate now too,
Well,
which is
that's cool.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, both
Yeah.
my kids work for me. It's great.
family
It's now-
business.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, first, how long have you been licensed?
I've been licensed since 2016.
Okay. What'd you do before that?
I taught 7th and 8th grade social studies.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Did you give up your
It's very
teacher's license
stressful.
then?
I did, yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I ended
Yeah.
up letting it go.
Yeah. And you became full-time as a realtor right away?
I did, yeah. It's my second go around in the business, so I
Okay.
actually was a buyer's agent for Tammy Fry for several
Okay.
years.
Tammy, yeah, she's a great agent too with
She is.
Remax. Yeah.
So I learned from the best.
You
so,
We'll have to tag her in this.
you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Tammy's incredible. So when I got out of real estate, when the market crashed around 2008, I was like, I'm never going back to real estate ever. And then I
Yeah.
got my teaching degree and
Right.
taught middle school, and then I'm like, okay,
Now you're
I
back.
guess I'm
Yeah.
coming back. But I just kind of took everything that I learned from Tammy and just started out full time
Yep.
right away.
Yep.
And then
And
with
you
the
guys-
help of him,
Yes. And
He
you guys
helped
have
a
been
lot,
together
too.
10 years, right?
12.
12. Okay.
Mhm.
And you've always been like a handyman type of.
I started doing this stuff years ago with a best friend of mine, and we started buying like properties and fixing them up, and then he was tragically killed in a car accident.
Oh, wow.
And then I had a 1-year-old, and then I just kind of like focused on raising kids, had another kid soon after that, and then it was just that, and I was just tattooing and doing that. And then when I met Jen, and she said she had a real estate license before, I'm like, what are you gonna do to get it back? I said, I wanted to get back into flips and rentals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she looked into it, and then, we went back and forth, and, she's like, what should I do? What should I do?
So what year did you do your first like renovation flip type of a property?
We bought a old duplex on the east side, was the first one.
Oh, wow.
I forget what year it was. It was maybe 2000.
Oh, wow.
Something like
now,
that.
did you live in one and work on it at the same time or
No,
anything like
no.
that? No.
I was living in West Toledo, and we bought that place and fixed it up. We got it for 20 grand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Back then you could pick up stuff for super cheap.
Yes,
and then we
true.
rented that place for like 5 years, and then ended up selling it for like, I had 2 other partners, and they didn't want to do anything. They expected me to do everything, and I'm like, hey, I'm not getting paid to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they didn't want to pay me out of the the rental stuff, and we sold it. We ended up selling for like 44,000.
Wow.
So
Did you make a
That's
profit?
decent.
we did.
You made-
Yeah, we
yeah.
did. Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
back up. We didn't
Yeah,
even
back it up.
clarify why we brought. We
Okay.
brought Jennifer and Brian in here
Yes.
to talk about flipping.
Yes,
I know
we
you've
wanna talk
heard.
about flipping
I don't know if we
properties.
specifically talked about it.
About flipping, we didn't do a flipping episode.
Mostly
so this is our
Airbnbs and
first one.
rentals
Yeah.
and real estate, but we wanted to bring in someone else in the market so you could hear their story
Yeah.
about what it's like to flip in Toledo, the positives, the negatives, the scary part, the rewarding part.
Yeah.
So
So tell us, I want to know about like what made you get into it together, like your first flip together. How'd that go
Well,
down?
our first flip together was in 2017. We bought a house, a little teeny tiny 780 square foot house in Sylvania for $36,000 that we got a mortgage on.
Ah,
That we got a mortgage on.
Been there,
Um,
30-year
was
fixed.
it a
yeah.
We got to
Three-bedroom
start
or
somewhere.
two?
It was a 2-bedroom, but we
Okay.
figured let's get this because it's small enough because we don't know what we're doing at all, and if we have to redo everything, it's small enough that we can
makes
do
sense.
it. And we made $4,000 on our first
Ah,
flip, and we split
$4,000.
it, so we each made 2,
Wow.
and it took us 9 months.
Wow.
And this,
Ah.
you did most of the work on this, or
I
We
did.
did.
I did a lot of it. But I was tattooing full time, so it was like kind of a part time thing. And we hired some contractors that wouldn't show, and it was like you know how it goes. It's like this guy's, I'll be there
Yeah.
Tuesday, I'll be there Wednesday, I'll be there. I'm like, you haven't been here in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I I used to joke that I could barely hammer a nail. I can do that, but she likes painting. That's about, and some of the tile work, like the sticky tile you do. But yeah, like I do not want any involvement with any of the fixing up part. I hired it out, and I just realized I'm not going to be good at it. What someone can knock out in an hour will take me a day. I don't have the tools for it, so it's like just go ahead and hire it out. But
now, do you enjoy physically working on the properties?
I do, because with tattooing it's very sedentary, and I was telling her I hurt more from a day of tattooing than flipping.
Yeah,
because I'm out moving around and everything. Yeah, because I'm moving and it's almost exercising.
Right.
And I enjoy doing that stuff. Yeah. And I do have a skill set that I try to stick to. Like I'll do these certain things, but certain other things we always hire out, like roofs, windows.
Right.
You know.
Who does your design?
Me.
Oh, really?
Well, and we have Heather at Modern Builders.
Okay.
Who's great. So
Good
she
shout out,
does
good
our
shout out.
kitchen. Yeah.
Okay.
Kitchen designs. So
They
we
do
always
windows
have her.
and stuff like that too, right?
I think so. We always use Builder Tech.
Oh,
Brad
that's what
at
we
Builder
use too.
Tech,
Yeah,
yeah,
Brad. We use Brad at
All right.
Builder Tech too. That's
Boy,
hilarious.
we better get some sponsorship.
I
out
know.
of
Yeah,
this.
yes, we use
Yeah.
Brad at Builder Tech.
If we mention your name on here and you want to emphasize what else you do,
Or
please
Tammy
do.
Fry's like.
Yeah. I think we brought up Thomas last time.
I
and
know.
was
We
like,
really just bring
our
up
friend,
people.
I'm like, I'm not sure he considers us a friend. I consider him a friend. So,
Yes.
so
All right, so 2017 first flip, Sylvania. You only made $4,000 combined, divided by 2.
Yeah.
Most people would have said, "I'm done with that. I'm not
We thought
going to do
about
it
it.
anymore."
We thought about it. Yeah, we're like, oh, God, this is not.
What do you think went wrong there?
We did not know what we were doing, so there was just a lot of like
Going into it blind.
just going to blind, figuring it out. Yeah, we were putting a lot of the stuff just on our credit cards, because at the time,
We had no money.
I was
Yeah.
barely
No
1
money.
year in the real estate business, so I still had a mountain of debt, and so we just.
So were you waiting to complete certain phases of it as you got more money in, kind of thing?
No, we were waiting on
No.
contractors a lot
Mostly
of the
waiting
time.
on
got it.
contractors,
Okay.
just kind of
Yeah.
figuring out. what
So,
we needed to
did
do.
you own rentals by this point? Because you own rentals too, right?
We do now, but no.
Yeah,
At this
okay,
point, we
so
just
no.
had
That
my
was the
house and
difference.
his house.
Before we did a flip, which I think our first flip was the house we lived in, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
correct.
Mm.
So
On
we
River
owned
Road.
rentals at that point,
Yeah.
so it was kind of. But for the house we lived in, I told everyone we took out like a shark loan. I mean, we had
Yeah.
to pay that thing off in
It was
6
like
months or
19% interest.
Yeah.
instead.
Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
took
mafia.
out
That's
Yeah.
mafia interest rates are.
like 100 different credit cards at 100,000
Yeah.
each to buy $100,000.
Yeah, we put a
home.
lot of flip stuff on credit cards in the beginning too.
Yeah,
for sure.
we did the same thing.
Did you open like the Lowe's and the Home Depot and all
No,
that?
at that point we didn't. We were just using the personal cards.
Yeah, just
Okay.
but we did eventually open a Lowe's card, which is great. I wish
Yeah.
we would have done it sooner.
Yeah.
We
Do you go to
probably
the
didn't
pro
have-
desk and go through? Yeah. Shout out to Brian at Airport Highway as our pro guy. Who's your pro guy?
There's several that we use there.
We go to Central Avenue.
Yeah,
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's right by our house. So.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So before we get to the next one, just so we know, how many flips do you think you've done since
Total.
21.
Since 2020.
We just
21.
closed
Wow.
our 21st yesterday.
Yeah.
21.
So great
That's
to
awesome.
close it.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so first flip.
First one wasn't done.
Not
Since-
great.
yeah.
A lot of
Yeah,
effort,
not
not
great.
a lot of reward, and then you decided to go again. So what did that look like?
Yeah. How long after that?
It wasn't that long after
Pretty
that,
quick.
but it was like we were still like finding properties that were in the MLS, not trying to find.
Okay.
pocket
Yeah.
listings
So
and
Jen
market
was
stuff.
looking like every
Yeah.
day to see what was
Yeah.
up there.
And we found one for like 64,000, and I was like, offer him 52.
Yeah.
And she's like, offer 52, and then they came back at a little, what realtors do. Oh, what about 60? And I go, tell them 52.5. That's
Yeah.
it. I'm done.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want to piss anybody off. I go, no, it's gonna happen. It's like we're here to make money.
Right.
Yeah.
And you always make more
Yeah.
money on the buy side
Yes.
than you do on the
Yes.
sell side.
And that's what we always
for
tell
sure.
people. You make money on the buy side. And the other realtor told her, hey, what's with this counter?
Mm.
She's like, look, he's an investor. If you don't take it, he's gonna walk away.
Yeah.
Right.
And guess what? They took it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Oh
took
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Where was this at?
Adela.
Yeah.
Oh, on Adela. Okay, so Washington local.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We ended up doing 2 on Adela right next door to each other.
Oh.
So our second one, and then I don't know, like our 5th or 6th.
Smart.
is right next
Smart.
door, yeah.
Okay, so how'd Washington
That's cool.
local treat you on number 2?
Well, that one we got quicker. I don't
Yeah.
remember exactly
A
how
little
long it
better.
took, but we made 15,000 on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you financed that one
Did you
too.
finance
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
you
we
financed
financed
it.
it.
So
We
are
financed
you
that
getting at this point? Are you getting like 30-year fixed? regular?
We did, yeah, I think it was a 15? I don't
This was
remember.
what year?
This was 2017.
2017.
Yeah,
Okay.
2017, yeah.
Yeah, so 30, like probably a 30-year
Yeah,
residential
because
fixed.
we're not going to have it that long, 2-3 months. And
Yeah,
then,
Yeah,
we're
and you're
done.
putting
Yeah.
20% down or 25% down, I'm sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we put
Yeah.
20%
Yeah.
down at
Okay.
that point. Yeah.
And so
'Cause
that
that one was only 50, so.
So that, I mean, when you do a conventional, obviously, the paperwork and they pull like all the things that go into
Yeah, you
it.
get
It
your
takes a
credit
little bit
pulled,
longer. It's
yeah.
a real
You have the debt.
burden
yeah.
until you can
Mhm.
do a commercial or cash.
Right.
But I mean, you take what you can get, right?
Yeah,
So,
and I'm looking
Yeah.
at them closing costs going, there goes our profit.
Yeah,
they're
4,000
yeah,
in
you're
closing.
paying
Yeah.
4,000 in closing, yes.
right off the
Now,
bat.
did you ever get any pushback from your lenders in the beginning that you were selling these so fast? Like, I know some lenders get like a chargeback essentially.
Yeah, they get mad.
Yeah, he wanted us to hold on to it, I think 6 months. And I
Yeah.
think with both the one we were,
pay off penalties,
Yeah.
basically.
yeah, so it was more than 6 months. But we did it at First Federal, the one in Perrysburg. I forget the name of it. It was Don Starbuck.
Okay.
Oh,
Who
And
helped
he's,
us
yeah.
at
he's
first,
still in the
yeah.
Which
business.
became
He's in the business,
Premier,
yeah.
which became now
He-
West Banco, I think. is
Yeah,
now in the
so-
process. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that.
He
I
was
think
really
everyone knows
great.
now.
Did he,
Lower.
does he know like that you guys were planning on flipping it, or
Yeah.
did you buy it like that you were maybe
Yeah.
going to make it a rental kind of thing?
No, I think they knew, yeah, because
Yeah.
we were telling them what we were planning on doing.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now, in the beginning, you didn't have any idea like to have rentals as well, right? You just thought, okay, we're just going to do the flips. You don't want to hang on to anything long term.
In the beginning, yes,
Yeah.
we were just wanting to flip.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
we want to make that big lump sum.
okay,
The big lump sum.
yeah. And are you starting 1031 exchange or anything like that at that
You
point?
can't do that
Mm-mm.
technically.
No.
No, you gotta. Your intent has to be to rent it, and you can decide then to flip it. But when you initially buy it, you gotta have the intent of renting. If you can't 1031 a flip, unfortunately.
Oh, got
So,
it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, the capital
Interesting.
gains tax is a
Mhm.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that wasn't even on our radar in the
No,
beginning.
no.
No.
wasn't.
No.
Uh-uh.
Okay. So number 2, 15,000.
Yeah, we had 15,000.
And are you just rolling over any proceeds
No, we were
into something
taking we were
new?
taking the profits.
At this
Were
point,
you?
yeah, we
Were you?
were.
We're both like, we have no savings, we have no nothing. We're trying, we're trying to build up from nothing, because I had just come out of a divorce, so I had nothing.
And I had a ton of debt just from
Uh-huh.
school and
Yeah.
just living, as a single mom for years. It's like,
Yep.
Yeah.
so we were just trying to get that going.
How do you calculate on your flips like what a property needs and how much you think it's going to cost? Are you using any type of special software program for that, or
Nope.
right?
Just
Are you
write it
pen and
out.
paper?
I'll go in and go, oh, that's gonna be 10 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
then
And do you feel like you're usually right on, or you go over?
now,
budget,
yes.
or?
I mean, at the beginning, we
Yeah.
had
Now
we
yes.
it was blind, no idea.
So
But
is that
now-
why you feel like your margins were so low in the beginning because you really
Yeah.
didn't know how
Yeah.
much it was going to cost, how long it was
Yeah, I
going to
mean
take, kind
that
of thing?
second Adela property, it was like I had to get somebody to like cut into concrete to redo the toilet because it was done wrong. It was sitting on the clean out stack and everything, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like now I look at it and go, oh, that's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be this,
For sure.
I put everything in Excel. Like I'll do it on my phone and then I'll put it in Excel. But
I was
don't
pen and
put-
papering.
Yeah.
Or taking a picture of it
Yeah.
when I was done pen and papering.
But like the old saying, measure twice, cut once. I always guess twice as long. We're like, we can get this done in a month. It's going to take 3.
Mhm.
Or we get this in 3. It's going to take 6.
Yeah.
And then I always add a buffer, and this is sometimes stupid, of $10,000.
Yeah,
We do
like
the
a
same thing.
contingency.
We do the
So,
same thing. Yeah.
Just
we'll- yeah.
for unexpected BS that you
Yeah.
know is going to happen. And if it still looks like a profit after everything in there and there's that $10,000 buffer, if we save it, great, but expect it to go somewhere. You never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Stuff
on the
that we
newest
always
house is
forget.
a
Yeah.
slab for the garage we're trying to put in, which we're
But we
getting permitted.
forget about utilities, like how much those cost
Your
every
carry
month.
costs.
Yes,
Yeah, your
and we
carry
always
costs.
forget about
Interest.
interest on if we do get a loan or like we forget about how much that goes into it too, because honestly it really eats it up.
I don't.
You don't?
No, I try to factor that
Yeah,
in.
but we got the damn gas shut off at one of the flip house like a week
Oh
ago,
no.
and it was because
Paying it might be a different
got
story,
put in
but I
it.
still.
we have this whole you guys have like the whole Columbia Gas, so it shows us like all these different accounts. For whatever reason,
Yeah.
the flip house got put in his new business, didn't get put on
Which
on
we
our normal
called.
account,
We called them several
and
times.
it was because the house just never had a gas meter, so we
Right,
had to
so
go
they-
through this like whole new service process.
Right, they were supposed to come out and they didn't. Then they needed something else to happen, and
Yeah.
then they just didn't charge us. So when they actually got it on, then we forgot about it.
Yeah, so it was like
Uh,
best laid plans. Like, when's the last time we've had
Because we
anything
called
shut
3
off?
times to get it set up. We're like, can we do it now? They're like, nope, you still have to do something. So then,
Yeah, and our contractor was like,
that's not typical.
so there's a shut off notice here, and then I call in and I'm like, okay, so how much do we owe? Thinking it's gonna be like, $200. We've had this house since December, and she's like, so to get it turned back on, it's $550, and I'm like, what? So then I have to go in my stupid Excel spreadsheet and be like, all right, it costs $550 for this.
by the way, my stupid Excel
For gas.
spreadsheet, she would still be
I know.
right
So
on.
he's like, you need to put that in Excel. Put it in.
Her
And then
CPA
it's
hates us because she would first she'd do it on paper, then she would type it in Word document. I'm
or
like,
an email.
it's an Excel. Like I can crunch this. You make a change, it fixes. But yeah,
An
no.
email body.
Yeah.
It's like, this costs this much. Wait, reply all. Never mind, it's this much.
Yeah. Freaking nightmare.
Yes. But so you guys keep track of everything pretty good, and then submit it to your CPA to get all your write-offs and.
Yeah, you put
Decently
everything-
good. I take care of all that side of it, and
Okay.
Bailey also helps. So what
Okay.
we'll do is I have folders, and everything goes in there, and then Bailey enters everything into like the Realty Juggler is what I use.
Oh,
Realty Juggler.
yeah, I've never
Realty
heard that.
Juggler.
Yeah,
I
tell
use
us
that,
about
the
Realty Juggler.
rentals and expenses and everything, and just jot down it, put right in there, check number, dates, and it adds. So once the file's done, I'll just print it and stick it in the end of the year, give it to my accountant
Nice.
Brittany.
I-
Like,
I've
here
heard
you go.
of that
And
one.
she
Super
just
cool.
handles
Okay,
it.
so we need to look into that.
Rental Juggler.
Realty
Realty
Juggler.
Juggler.
Realty Juggler.
And then I also keep track of my real
Your
estate income
sales
in there
stuff.
too.
Okay.
So
Even though you're doing separate return, do you have an S corp for your
Yeah.
real estate sale?
Yeah,
So
S
you
corp.
file a separate return then from your LLC. I'm assuming with your flips, right?
yes, we have that's a whole other.
So-
We have 7 LLCs.
You have 7 LLC. That's smart too. So we had a friend that every single property he bought, he created a separate LLC for. Did you guys kind of
It's
start
just
doing
really-
that, or do you just have like
It's like a
buckets?
financial nightmare, but
Ours
We
is-
have that. So we're element 319, but then all our properties are like Series A, Series B, Series. So we do actually probably have more LLCs than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So because
Okay.
all of
It
those
is.
fall under their own
we did
individual.
an umbrella
Interesting.
policy for our rentals, but it's all
Yeah,
2
we have a
different
large
LLCs.
large umbrella policy, but yeah, just because we thought it would be such a headache to set up an LLC like per property or.
We had an attorney do it.
Did
Yeah.
you?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
he
did
did
too.
it all.
Yeah, that's good. So when did you start becoming more profitable with your flips? Like
Number
where
3.
was that? Number
Number
3 was the
Number
tipping
3.
point.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
That was our game changer.
Still
Okay.
on Adela.
No.
Oh.
No, this one was on Van Ness.
Okay.
Okay.
And this one we got,
That's Washington local too, isn't it?
no,
No,
it's Rogers,
Toledo.
I believe.
Oh,
Rogers.
okay.
Yeah.
So 436
Right off
like
Bancroft.
15.
Yeah, right on
Okay.
Bancroft.
Cool.
So
cool.
this one, and I got a shout out to Todd because this is
Yeah.
how we got Todd Sedler. You guys know Todd Sedler?
Oh yeah.
So we just stopped at Jay's because their son was working there for a cappuccino or something.
And carrot cake and cappuccino on
Yeah.
Okay.
Valentine's Day
Yeah,
or
Valentine's
something.
Day.
Yeah.
And
This
Todd,
is like Valentine's Day 2018 kind of thing.
20 was it 19 or no 18?
Yeah, something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Okay.
probably.
and Todd ran into us, and he knew we had started doing flipping. He was doing
Yeah.
flipping with his partner Patrick, and
Yep.
he's like, "Hey guys, I got this property under contract on Vanessa, and we don't want to do it. We want to do this other one." He goes, "We got it under contract for 30 grand. We can just pass it to you."
So,
Oh, there you go.
And he
That's
did.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow,
And he did.
awesome.
And we're like, he's like, "Do you want it?" We're like, "Yeah." And at that point, Jen got the bright idea. Let's stop doing these mortgages, and she got a HELOC on her house that she was
Okay,
living in.
smart,
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Finally
And we
realized
paid cash for
that
it.
could be-
Okay.
And then again, we did like credit cards and everything else. So this one, it was like, so we saved the closing costs on that one and everything.
Yes, for sure.
And I went in and it was just a mess. You know, it was like full of stuff, and we ended up selling a lot of the stuff online. You know, we
Okay.
had like 2,500
So you
bucks
made some
on-
money there.
Yeah, we made some
Wow,
money
that's
on
we don't do
launch
that. We
everything.
just junk it.
Very cool.
But I got a little bit smarter and started utilize like the cupboards are in good shape, so I just painted them with
Yeah,
like,
refinished
cabinet
them.
paint.
Yeah.
And I built a laundry where there wasn't one. They had the washer dryer sitting in
Smart.
the kitchen, so I built a wall. I used some of the planks from here. I distressed them, made it look like barnwood. Did
Yeah.
wainscoting. I got a little bit creative on that one.
It's just overcoming objections, I feel like, the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
people will say, I don't like having laundry in the kitchen. How do you overcome the objection?
Yep.
For sure.
But that one we were smart with how we spent, and I think we got it for 30, and we only spent 23,000 rehabbing the whole
Wow.
thing.
Wow.
And then ended up selling it for like 112.
I think no, like 112 20, I think.
Well, anyways, the
115,
profit on that one
115.
was 50,000.
Yeah,
Wow,
fantastic.
that's awesome.
So that
Yeah,
was
that's
from
a huge tipping
4
point.
to
Oh,
15
yeah.
to 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's what
Exponentially.
Jen says that's our game changer. That was our game changer.
For
So
sure.
from that point on, we had something to shoot for.
Yeah.
We're going to make 50,000.
You literally grew
Yeah.
by like 3 every time.
Yeah.
And use
Yeah.
that like as a template for future. Like, okay,
Yes.
how can we make sure that we make that margin? Plus, what having Jen as an agent, I think, gives us a leg up when you're the listing agent too. And then I'm sure, do you offer a buyer agent commission always so that?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And obviously, like, it's great that the buyer has their own agent,
Mhm.
but we save the commission on the list side on the flips, which is really nice too. And then it helps with your volume. And are you guys flyering the neighborhoods after you sell your flip to try to like get more in the same area?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I always send
smart.
out
Yep.
neighborhood postcards. 'Cause
Very smart.
They still work.
Yes,
Like,
I
they
agree.
do. They
I agree.
still work.
Yes. Hey,
I
we
get
sold this house for
calls,
this
yeah.
price. We're looking for more in the area. We're local. I think that people, can say whatever they want about realtors or flippers, but they prefer having local people that are like in their neighborhood. So we always like
Absolutely.
try to introduce ourselves to the neighbors, and we're like, hey,
Well,
we
also, I
live local.
mean, just like recently, we had a contractor run over someone's yard with a trailer, and
Yeah.
everyone was pissed. But typically, we talk to our neighbors. We're like, "Hey, we're doing this." Like on Northwood Avenue, we've done probably 6 flips on the same block, and usually the same neighbors like have been
Yeah,
doing
like we did this lady's, like we're on
We
this
did,
side
yeah.
and we're on this side, and we
And
did the
across
house
the
next
street,
to it.
yeah.
And across the
On
street.
Northwood?
Yeah.
Yes.
By Toledo Hospital?
Northwood
Yeah,
is our
yeah.
jam.
We did one.
We
on
did
there.
one on North
Yes,
Road,
yeah. What year?
When was that?
2022, I think.
Oh,
There was,
so
Yeah, I feel like
okay.
we knew about that one.
Yeah, we might have. Yeah, because I think I'm trying to get Jacqueline and Andrew Lee on the podcast too,
Yeah.
because I know they do that a lot. They just did a flip on Northwood, and then the auction this week on Northwood we won because I'm like, oh, okay. Let's just like keep comping out the neighborhood. I'm like, we're
Right.
using our own stuff as a comp, which
Yeah.
if you
brilliant.
guys did them next door to each other, you can use your
Yeah,
own.
for as much as the neighbors can complain, it's like we've single-handedly raised your value by 100,000 over the last 5 years. Like thank you, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like,
No, I know, but then they could play devil's advocate and say, oh, well, it also contributed to raising the taxes, which everybody's
See, some
bitching
people
about right
are
now.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't realize retail is different than tax assessment. But recently the tax assessments come up quite a
Yeah, yeah, we kind of got crushed with that.
yeah, that's like.
Are
and
you,
still continues to
we
suck.
also, like, when we purchase, we do the tax challenge if it's between January and March to try to lower it to whatever we paid for the property. Do you
Mhm.
guys ever do that too when you purchase?
think
No,
we've
but
never
we
done that.
should.
Yeah, so it's not like as high while you're working on it, because that's another thing like I don't think about too is how much are we
Yeah.
paying in the taxes
Yeah.
every
I
month?
definitely don't think about that. Like,
No.
didn't think about that at all. But I mean, ultimately in the closing costs or whatever the taxes and
Yeah.
stuff like do and pay.
Yeah, you could write off. Yeah, you can write off your whole.
It seems
settlement
like it would
statement,
almost take
obviously.
longer to get it like lowered than it does because we for a while there we had our flips down to 8 weeks.
Oh
So
wow,
it's like
that is
we were
awesome.
doing it 8 weeks, and
Don't think we've ever-
the quickest one was 7 weeks, and that was during COVID when I wasn't tattooing. I was at the house every day, and we did it in 7
Yeah,
weeks.
that's awesome. How quickly are you selling them from when Brian says I'm done, you're ready to put on the market? Are you getting offers within the first 30 days usually?
Yeah, usually. Yeah. That very first one we did, it took us 6 weeks, but I think that's probably
To get
the
it-
longest
yeah.
it ever took us
But it was
to
a
get.
2-bed, so you
Yeah,
very
it's
it's
just
tiny.
a buyer.
special. Yeah.
Small
Now,
house.
do you do coming soon before it goes live? Like before you're done with the house?
It just depends. Not
Yeah.
usually.
Because
We're
that's
just
what she-
active now, but
We have a shit ton to do, and she'll be coming soon in 30 days, and now it's a rush to the finish.
21 days.
21
days.
But
Yeah.
it's only because same thing with the contractors.
Yeah.
Like you struggle with people showing up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you try to get there every day and say, okay, I'll buy you pizza if I see you working, or okay, I'll give you this bonus if you can get it done by X day, and then it's always like shortcuts. And if ever we went out of town, then shit falls off the side, goes to the wayside then. And then I'm like, okay, well, what if I tell them, hey, photos are this day, I'm putting it in as coming soon, we got showings on this day. Is that a way to like actually motivate everybody to show up and get it done or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm out of ideas, but
It does work, but it's created some strife too. I mean,
Yeah.
the guys get super angry because they make promises and then they can't keep it. They'll
Yeah.
be like, yeah, we can do this in 3 weeks, 6 weeks later.
it's always like sometimes it's not even the contractor. It's like weather driven or
Yeah.
permit
Yeah.
driven.
Well,
like
yeah.
that takes
Yeah.
too long,
Oh,
or
absolutely.
you're
Paint, driveways, anything concrete,
Yeah.
always weather.
something you don't have an
specific.
issue with in Florida, but you have here is you can't paint outside, you can't pour concrete. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's always one thing that's come up a lot where, like right now, we just got a permit approved to put a garage up. And we have to do the concrete first. Well, now they're saying, okay, we can do the concrete, but then that has to be done and approved before they can put the garage on. So I'm like, do I just put it in as coming soon because the inside's done, and just say, look, we are going to have a garage, it's going to have one, and try to like line up the showings, because it's dumb to not have showings inside just because you're waiting for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's always something though. Is the gist.
It is
I
always
get it.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally always something. Now, are you guys staging and doing professional photos and things
We've
like that
only
on your flip
staged-
every time?
We
The one?
staged one because it was
You're talking. Can you make sure Brian's in there?
it was very small, so we did
Yeah,
stage
yes.
one just to
Yeah.
To
so
show
that you
how
could
it
fit
could-
a bed and
Yeah, a bed and everything.
And
And there
normally
was,
just minimal.
there was an
Yeah.
awkward space where like we can use this as an office, and it showed that. You know,
Yes.
so
Yeah. We always do that too, like just to try to set the stage, because people will immediately come in and be like, "Oh, that's too small for my bed." But
Yeah.
if they see a bed in there
yeah,
and
exactly.
see that there's actually room, then they're like, "Okay, this makes sense. My stuff will fit," kind of thing.
That's,
I think it's essential. I've walked into so many flipped homes that don't have any staging, and my buyer will be like, I just don't know if stuff's gonna fit. And then we walk into a smaller house that has staging, and they're like, oh, this works perfectly. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
and
the
you're
other
like, it's
house
the
is
same
bigger.
size.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't feel that way because it's empty, but staging 100% works. And they could fool you with like a twin mattress instead of a king,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah.
there's a mattress in there, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Looks good.
definitely stage your stuff.
Yeah, but you guys always have really nice pictures, and you've been doing videos too, which I think is awesome, where you show the beginning
Mhm.
and then you kind of show your end.
people like to see those before and afters. You know.
Yes,
They're
I
like,
love it.
I
I
can't believe
live-
what you did with
Oh,
this
yeah.
place. Yeah,
I
can't believe they
live
did
for
it.
the before and afters.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when like the befores are like dark and cluttered and shit's like falling through the ceiling, and you show
Oh,
how
that-
nice it is after.
That one we did on Willie's, it was like the kitchen had been on fire, so all the paint
Wow.
was peeling and everything. And then the afterwards, you're like, "That's the same kitchen."
Yeah,
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 it's
It is.
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any like big advice, like number one thing you should consider, or top 3, top 10, whatever, any advice to anyone
For
thinking
anybody
about
out
going
there
into
that
the
wants
flipping world?
to flip, any good buy low, sell high?
Buy
Yeah.
low, sell high. Yeah.
Well, like going back to what you said about you make your money on the buy side, don't look in the MLS. Like some of the things I would do is like look for overgrown grass, look stuff up on the
Land
on the
bank's a
areas.
great place to look.
Yeah, and one of the ones we found, it was like these people had owned it. They lived in Seattle, and it was a wreck. And I found her on Facebook, and I said, "Hey, I want to buy your house at this address." And she's like, "Yep, cool."
Wow.
5 minutes later, she got back to me. It wasn't listed, you know, nothing, and,
Yeah.
and that's how I got that one. But yeah, it's like make sure you make your money on the buy side and look for those off-market properties like overgrown grass, that type of
100%.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say that's my biggest piece of advice, because if you're paying retail for this stuff,
Yeah.
you're not going to make. And a lot of times auctions, they drive the price way up,
yeah.
and it's like you get in the moment and you're like, I wanted to pay $75 for this, but now
Always,
now I'm at
always.
110, and now
Yes.
it's the you know the budget's a lot more crunched.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a certain profit margin that like no, yes, like does it have to be 30, 50, 20, like, or any, like?
I guess it depends. I mean, if you can make 20,000 on something and get it done in 4 weeks, sure.
I
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
we've bought houses and I'm like, paint and sell. And
Yeah.
she's like,
Yeah.
no, I want to do this and I want to do that. And like,
Yeah.
we could literally make 20K. So then we spend 30,000 and still make 20K.
Yeah.
But
she
it's like
wa-
you said, it's all in the custom details.
Yeah.
So like I always want to have ours be different,
She
or
wa-
have like a
You
trademark.
like designing. Her whole goal
I
in
do
life
like
is just the
designing.
doodad and design, and that's her favorite part.
It is my favorite.
And the compliments that come with it.
Yes.
We've
You would
had-
love to
I
be on
like what you
HGTV just listening to people sitting in the van watching people do an open house. Oh my god, you'd be like, oh, this is my favorite thing ever.
Well, we have that problem too with always over renovating. Like, oh,
Yeah,
you gotta
we
do this, and it's like, so
sometimes do too much.
we've had to pull back. Yeah, at certain times, like, yeah, we don't have to do that. Let's not do that. You know. It's
Yeah.
Like, but you
Do
get.
you ever
the
look
moment,
back
yeah.
and you're like, I'm like, I can't believe we put marble floors from the tile shop into this $180,000 house. Why did we do that?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I think the
that's
only one we did like solid surface countertops in the kitchen was the one we did in Perrysburg, because we
Yeah.
knew it was going to be, you know,
Yeah.
higher end.
So you got to
know,
do
we
something
didn't
nice.
laminate, yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
one ended up going 7 offers, 21,000 over asking.
That's awesome.
You know,
Mhm.
so
Really
that
awesome.
one that was a big, you know, home run with that one. But
For
it's
sure.
Perrysburg.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's always nerve wracking too when it's your own house, and I know we can sympathize with our sellers, but going through the home inspection process on one of your flips, we've been doing like a pre-listing home inspection. Do you guys ever do that?
Uh-uh.
No,
No, but we should. That's a great idea.
because I just like, we will price them on the high end, right? Because we know that ours,
Try to move. I don't know what the camera sees, so.
So we'll price them on the high end, knowing that we're giving a really good product. But I don't want anything to come up. Like one time, I want to say it was like 2018, we did a flip on Westwood in the South End. And this was like an $80,000 house, 85. And the buyer was like, oh, there's no GFCI outlets in the kitchen and the bathroom. I want $10,000 off. And I'm like, pound sand. And then if hindsight's 2020, I'm like, man, I should have known that. That's like $100 and, per outlet type of thing.
Yeah.
If that, like, that was really stupid. I don't know why somebody, and then I'm like,
that.
how do I overcome that objection in the future? Okay, let's do these pre-listing home inspections. We've done them on our last couple flips. I think we used Erie last time because they're honestly one of the more thorough, picky ones.
Yeah.
So, and then I say, okay, here's this. My contractors are still working in the house. Here's what came up on the home inspection. Here's what we need fixed, like right when we're getting done with it. And then I say in my listing, like home inspection attached or available for reference. And then I know that I'm not going to I'm not as likely to get a buyer that's like, ooh, I'm paying X dollar amount for this. And oh man, now I got to ask for a bunch of money off, or I'm going to walk over something stupid because I have all the transparent information right there. There's nothing to hide,
Yeah, because every inspector is going to find something different.
Right.
No, our last one, we had knob and 2 wiring in the attic, and the buyer walked away and we got it, and we're like, has a regular breaker box. He went up there, he goes, it was just wiring left over.
Yeah,
For
it
back
wasn't
in the
even
day.
live or anything like that.
was
Like it's just all really
Yeah,
stupid.
disconnected, $50, I'll remove it. And they were like, this could cause a fire. We're like, it's not even connected to anything.
It's
just
not
left
even
it.
live.
No,
wire.
we had
That's
one
cool.
like that where we're like, we're just going to pull this out of here so they don't even look at it.
Yeah,
You
know,
right,
so
so
that's
you
good.
got to do that. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes
There's-
it is like
But I get it. You're buying something that is on the high end. You're buying something that somebody else didn't live in. So it makes sense for the buyer to obviously get an inspection there and make sure that there's nothing going to come up. I just want to minimize the surprises, basically.
I agree. I'm blown away by what people walk away with and by what people don't care about. So it's like it's all over the place.
We had one walk away over. The inspector said it was an active termite infestation, and it was old damage around a windowsill in the basement. And we had our pest inspector go over, and they said, "There's
Nothing.
there's nothing active in
Yeah.
here." But the people walked away.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it was like that was
Because they were just
They were
like
freaking-
termites.
Well,
Yeah.
like a parent or something,
Yeah.
come back, like they just scare me out of it.
And there was a Centricon system already installed around the house.
Yeah.
So they knew it was a problem. They got rid of it.
Yeah.
Now, if you had a pre-listing home inspection, maybe they would have caught that in the beginning. You could have remedied it
could've got
while
rid of
you were
the
still
little
working
tunnels.
on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
and then there wouldn't be anybody freaking out
So
on it.
what did I do for remedied it? I wood putted it and painted it. Now
Yeah.
they're not there anymore. It's like
Yeah.
the wood was still solid.
Yeah.
Right.
No, of course. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Obviously, if it's a major concern, fix it. But yeah, if it's not, just move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the
Attach and
Centricon
paint.
system already, so
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times things that we don't really pay attention to, and I always disclose, like, yeah, there's a fireplace, we never used it, but that's like always something that I feel like comes up if you, like, we never pay attention to the fireplaces and the chimneys and all that of the house, but that'll come up during the home inspection. So if we have that done before and they say, okay, mortar this, fix that, chimney cap this, then it prevents, somebody from walking away over that, because we've had that come up before, and it's just something we never
major thing.
mess with it at all.
Yeah.
Like, we never turn on the fireplaces. We just, make it
Most
look
of
good
them,
kind of thing.
we don't even worry about it. I mean, if they want to make it work, they can do it on their own. But
Yeah.
That's the two fireplaces I had to deal with. I'm like, they're as far as I know, they're not working. They're
Right.
strictly
Yeah,
decorative.
same.
But if you want to
Yeah.
get them working, that's on you.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that is a big thing, and it can be a big.
Some people love fireplaces, some people don't. It's like a pool or whatever. But like
Right.
we had a fireplace. I don't think we used it once in 2 of our houses. We're not fireplace people,
Not really.
but some.
Yeah.
I mean, but you did decorate them each one.
I decorate, yes.
You put the fake wood in there. Like
I
it's
do.
just,
Well, this is so funny, but like we're doing this flip now that I was just talking about, and I literally, like, my contractors were laughing because I come over and I open an Amazon box and it's this beautiful cut birch wood, and they were like, "You bought wood on Amazon?" I'm like, "Yes, I buy the wood."
and a fireplace does not work, but birch wood is pretty.
Yes, but the birch wood looks so good in there because it's like nice and polished.
Yeah.
They're like, there's a tree outside. I'm like, yeah, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
No. So what are your guys', we'll start wrapping up here.
Yeah,
What are your
35 minutes in.
I know, yeah, you guys
so
see?
it goes by quick, doesn't
It
it?
does, yeah.
Yeah.
What is your, do you have any flipping goals or anything that you're looking to do within the next year or two?
Well, we are actually building our own house.
Okay, nice.
So we are getting ready to flip the house we currently live in.
Oh,
So
there you go.
We're getting ready to
Interesting.
actually start that. We're just
You personally are? You hired a builder, or this is
we are
you are personally building?
well with our friend who is wanting to potentially get into building. So
Nice.
we're kind of working together
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like get
Cool.
through it.
So now you're getting your
Um,
current house kind of ready to
Yeah.
go.
So now we're getting ready to flip our current house. So we're hoping to have that hitting the market end of July, early August.
Okay.
So
Have you ever
that's our
lived in a
next
house
project.
and flipped?
No. So this
Yeah.
is going to be the first
That's
time.
gonna
So
be
we
interesting.
already have a
Whoa.
plan. We're
Yeah.
gonna move downstairs, move
Okay.
bedroom, move
Oh,
everything
gosh,
downstairs, and do
wow.
the second floor,
Wow.
and then hopefully start moving.
Well,
then do the
luckily-
kitchen
Wow.
probably.
Best
so
of
that'll
luck,
be
guys.
interesting.
Yeah, best of luck.
But luckily, most of the big stuff is done. We have
Okay.
3 full
Yeah.
baths. They've all been remodeled. We've did new roof, new furnace, boiler, mini split system. I mean, everything's done. There's just little stuff like the upstairs needs a little bit of painting. The laundry room needs some attention.
Yeah.
And then I want to put floors and countertops in the kitchen and paint downstairs. It's mostly just cosmetic
And they have
stuff.
9 cats, so they also got to work with
We gotta work around that.
relocating the
Yeah,
cats
yeah.
while they're working on the house too.
God, I don't know how we're gonna do it.
So that's why we're not moving somewhere else in the interim. That's why we just got to stay where we're
Makes
at so we
sense.
can get into our
Yeah.
new place in the fall, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Very
then
cool.
and then after that we'll be on the hunt for another flip.
Another
so.
property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, best
Very
of luck
cool.
to
Yeah.
that
Thank
and
you.
your marriage through the
Yes.
process
Yes,
and
thank
the
you.
cats along the way. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank
Yeah.
you for
Appreciate
joining
you having
us.
us in.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes.
So we'll end that now. We'll end with thank you for tuning in to our 8th episode of.
Yep. For the love of real estate.
You can look at the camera.
For the love of real estate.
Yeah, I put something over it anyway, so no one can see it. But
See
yeah,
you next
appreciate you coming out. See ya.